The tools, products, and techniques in this video are intended for use by adult modelers. Anyone under the age of 13 should always have adult supervision when using said tools, products, and techniques.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 3 of our Spangler Neutrono wand build. Hopefully everybody's seen episode 1 and 2, where we got the old handles removed, the new handles installed. And this episode is going to be painting and weathering. Hopefully we can get this thing all finished up this episode. I did do a few things off camera. As you can probably tell, I went around and sanded all the seams, right? So they're nice and smooth and ready to go. Oh, and I sanded the bottom, right? This had all the production marks, made by Hasbro, all that stuff. And I wanted to sand those marks off, so I did that off camera too, and just taped up spots that I didn't want paint. So, yep. First thing we got to do is get this thing all masked off. And I think I'm gonna hit the Barry Allen button, so you don't have to sit here for 30 minutes while I do this. So, yep, let's get this thing taped off, and then we'll start painting. Alright everybody, here we go. Got the Neutrono wand all masked up and ready for some paint. I decided to leave this little section open because I'm going to repaint these buttons anyway, so I figured why not cover all that in black, and that'll be good. To paint this thing, give me 1 second. So to paint this thing, I'm going to use a rattle can. It's just a matte black spray paint, and normally I would prime, right? Everything I paint normally gets a primer. But I have found that this stuff sticks to plastic really, really well. I haven't really had any issues with paint chipping or anything like that. Just a really, really nice spray paint. So that's what we're going to use to get this thing all painted up. I'm going to try to film spraying the black, but I got to do it outside, and it's going to be, I don't know. Well, I'll try. Maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. But at any rate, when we come back, these will all be painted up, and we will go from there. Be right back. Alright everybody, here we go. Got the Neutrona wand all painted up. Pretty happy with how that came out. Got the both handles all painted, got the base all painted up. Yep. Now it's time to do a little of the detail painting that I want to change. The first thing I want to start with is the silver weathering around the edges. Now this was done, by the factory, and honestly it's a little bold for what I normally do, but I want to make everything sort of match together. So I did a few, not really experiments, but a few trials off camera, and I found the best thing for matching what's already here, the Sharpie, right? Silver Sharpie. I seriously doubt this is how they did it in the factory, but it really does match pretty well. Here, we'll do this to make sure I'm on camera. We'll do this little weld right here. And if you notice, I mean, that looks right. That looks very similar to what's happening up here, right? So that's what we're going to do. Just kind of go around and I'm going to hit this weld line. But then I'm also going to go around little edges like this, and I'll, just sort of, blend it into what's already here, and do that everywhere that I think, like right here, there might be a little bit, and I'll do some scratches up across the top, just sort of blend it in. But I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to go around the whole thing and get it done with the Sharpie, and when we come back, we will start tackling some of the other little paint bits, the actual paint bits. So give me a few minutes and then we'll get started on the rest of this. Be right back. Okay, here we go. Got a little edge wear all around the freshly painted parts. Again, like I said, this is a little bit bold for my taste. Normally I wouldn't do anywhere near this amount of edge wear. But, I want the handles to match to the rest of the Neutrona wand. So, yeah, there we go. And I think it does. Like I said, it's a little more bold than I would normally go, but I think it matches well. So, yep, that's what we got. Now we're going to move on to some detail painting, which just like these buttons up here I want to paint, and this little collar in the original Neutrona wand, this collar was silver, not black, so we're gonna repaint that. We're gonna repaint the buttons. Yeah, and to do that, we're just gonna use some acrylic paint. Off camera here, I have my wet palette. If you are not familiar with a wet palette, check the video. It goes in how to make one for next to nothing. I've also got an assortment of paints. These are Vallejo water-based paints, water-based acrylics. So I know I normally use Tamiya, but for this we're going to use some water-based. And then I've just got an assortment of brushes off camera. So yeah, I think we will start with maybe these buttons. We'll start with these buttons. On the pictures that I've seen, the reference pictures, this is a red button with a little silver collar, and this is an orange button. And that's what we're going to try to replicate here. Now, there are some people that I've seen online who have actually replaced this button with an actual working button. That's fantastic. And, maybe at some point that'll happen down the road, but for right now, we're just going to paint this to make it look like it. So, shake, 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 shake. A little dab of paint right out here on the wet palette. And we won't need much because it's just a tiny little button. But there we go. And if we make some mistakes, it's not that big a deal. We can always go back and touch it up. But first coat's going to be choppy and it's not going to cover. Don't worry about that. First coat's always a little bit wonky. But just get some paint on there and we'll come back and sort it all out with the next coat. And there we go, one coat down. While I have this silver paint going, I think I'm gonna hit this little collar too. But before I do that, give me 1 second. I just want to get a little strip of painter's tape and put around this little area. There we go. All right. Let's see. I'm going to grab a bigger brush. Got a couple of different sizes here depending on what I need. And on camera. Let's get on camera. And again, first coat's going to be splotchy, and it's going to look like trash, but that's all right. We just need to get some paint on, and we'll clean it up with the next coat. Alrighty. There's one coat on. Like I said, the first coat will always look terrible. Don't freak out if it doesn't look perfect on the first coat. It never does. So I'm going to grab a little red, shake, and dab a little on the palette. I'm just going to touch this little button. Again, don't worry about first coat. It always looks bad. There we go. Alright, so I think I'm going to go off and just do the rest of this off camera. I'll be using the exact same techniques that I've done here. A really sloppy first coat, let it dry, come back with a second coat, finish it up. When we come back, I want to do a little bit of weathering across the entire wand, and that's what we'll work on next. So give me a few minutes to get all this stuff done, and yeah, we'll do some weathering. Be right back. Okay, here we go. Got the details all painted up. I think I may do a little brush on gloss coat just to sort of seal it in and protect it. But other than that, pretty happy with how they came out. Got the buttons painted up, got this little collar painted silver, and then I ended up painting this button gray because a few of the studio pictures I've seen had a gray button here. So, yep, that's where we are now. Time to do a little weathering. The weathering is going to be really straightforward, really sort of simple in terms of what I normally do for weathering. I'm just going to be using some Panaline accent color. This is just black. And really all I want to do is sort of bring down the shine of some of these buttons, knobs, and that sort of thing. So give this a good shake. And we're going to go in. I've also got off to the side here a few cotton balls, Q-tips, right? That's just to wipe off any excess. But really, we're going to just sort of go right in and all around these silver bits, right? And I'm going to be really, really generous with this stuff because I want it to get in all the little nooks and crannies. And really just sort of stain all this stuff really, really well, right? It'll really look neat on this knurling. When we drip that on, it's really good. Look at that. Just brings it to life, right? So, yep. That's what we're going to do. Go around and just put this everywhere, right? And don't worry about a mess. We can clean it up later. Just get it everywhere. And then I will let it sit for a few minutes normally, but for the video, I'm just going to do it now. I'll just grab a cotton bud and, just kind of go around, pull off a little bit, leave a lot, but, just until I'm happy with how it looks, right? So pull off a little bit, leave a little bit, right? All around. And this stuff dries really slowly, so you can do this over the course of really a couple of days if you wanted to. You could let it sit overnight and then come back and start pulling off, bits, which it would totally work. But like I said, for the video, I'm just going to do it now, and I might end up doing another coat later. If I pull too much off, just go back and do it again. Put more on. There we go. That's pretty much all I want to do for weathering. Like I said, I don't want to do a lot, but I did want to get some weathering on. Oh, wait a minute. There's one other thing I want to do. Give me 1 second. There's one other thing I forgot about. All right. I also want to dirty up this little tube a little bit. It's a little too clean for me. To do that, I've got some makeup sponges, right? Just stole these out of my wife's makeup bin. And I've got a few colors here, some blue, some brown. And here's what we're going to do. Couldn't be easier. Just put a little bit out there. A little bit of black. Primarily I want black and brown. The blue is there really just to sort of, I don't know, bring the black up a little bit. So take our sponge and just dab it right into the paint, right? Not being careful, not worrying about what we're doing. Then I've got a paper towel. I'm just going to blob off a lot of that, right? Just like that. And then I want to come over here and try not to get it everywhere, but I just want to do a couple of little, and if we get someone there, no big deal, just wipe it away. But I just want to do a couple of little dirt marks, right? Just every so often. There we go. That's yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna let all this stuff dry, and we will take a look at the finished wand when we come back. All right, everybody, there we go. Got the Neutrona wand all finished up. I am really happy with how this one came out. It looks a little more like the 1984 version. Again, it's not completely 100% accurate, but to the eye it looks a little bit closer. So I'm really happy with it. Went around and changed some details a little bit, changed the colors up here, the buttons. Ended up adding a little bit of silver down here just to call out some details. But yep, really happy with this one. As always, thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you enjoyed this build. And if you want to do your own, it's really not that complicated. Give it a try. It's a lot of fun. All right, so until the next build series, bye-bye.